Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good wherever you are. This is another episode of the Talkative Typecast. And today, what I've decided to do is that we are going to take a look at the taxi situation here in the Western Cape. You know, if you don't take a taxi, then this kind of thing tends to not really matter too much to you. But so that it's a bit of a short and succinct video, what we are going to do is this. I've taken some clips from news items this morning that just basically gives us a bit of a recap as to what's been going on. And then once we have done the recap, basically what I'm going to try and do is this, okay? I am just going to synthesize the news for you. So here we go. Let's get into that play button.
This morning. Come with me this way. I'm going to show you the N2 highway on this Monday morning. Now, you look at this, Ayanda. The N2 freeway in Cape Town is completely empty. It is dead quiet. This is unheard of. It speaks ago saying that there are multiple road closures across the city this morning, and there is an expectation of severe delays. No direct access to the airport on the N2 highway on this Monday morning. Okay.
Arrow Bus Company says it's certain Santaco is behind the attacks on their property and will use CCTV to identify the culprits.
Almost invariably what happens whenever there is a taxi demonstration, almost immediately fire is set to the buses or trains, whichever is the alternate mode of transport.
Okay, so far, nothing unusual that I've heard. Most taxi strikes, stayaways seem to follow this pattern. Let's carry on.
So the Cape Town station deck is probably one of the biggest taxi ranks in the Western Cape, and as you can see, it is a ghost town at the moment. It has been since the strike was declared earlier in the week. Now,
COSATU is calling for Cape Town's Safety and Security MMC JP Smith to be suspended over the taxi strike in the province. The trade union federation is accusing Smith of making decisions emotionally and not considering the working class.
Who's being emotional? Making emotional decisions. JP Smith.
As well as the poor who are now left stranded. The federation says the impounding of taxis, which led to this mass strike, directly impacts those most vulnerable. It's accusing Smith.
And we feel that JP Smith is the main one that's weaponizing taxi regulations and effective.
So for context, right, what's happened is that there have been a whole lot of taxis that have been impounded. Whether or not they've broken some kind of violation or something to that effect, but there seems to have just been an extremely high amount of taxis that just got impounded, and the taxi guys are not having it.
As fueling a war on the Cape Flats. And JP Smith, who should not even be in the lead of any discussions dealing with public transport, can't have a tit-for-tat situation where everybody's going to end up blind.
Look, I also don't think it makes much sense to come and try play prefect with the taxi industry. I was on the roads this morning and the guys are able to completely shut down the economy here in the Western Cape. So, you know, this whole big dick swinging contest trying to get these guys in line, it's not going to work. I mean, they are an industry of their own and they are wielding their power, using it very effectively. I don't think there's going to be much of a choice but to come back to the negotiation table with them, because you can't try and bully the taxi industry. It doesn't work.
JP Smith but use the courts to execute that. You can't elicit a fight with an important industry when you haven't given negotiations a chance.
The Golden Arrow bus service confirming that 3 of its buses have been torched in Cape Town this morning over the weekend. COSATU in the Western Cape accusing Cape Town's Safety and Security MMC JP Smith of weaponizing the city. Okay, adds that JP Smith's actions are politically motivated, he says.
We think that there is a problem. This is clearly the political agenda, because in the rest of the country we can find solutions.
All what we wanted is a moratorium on impoundment, so that is not being given. And therefore we can't go back to work if that is not given, because what if 100 taxes, we all want a moratorium on impoundment. for a certain period. And the period that we asked yesterday was very simple. 7 days, then we sit and discuss on meetings, because all this is about the conditions on operating license.
So, this is about operating licenses, yet, so are the taxis that are being impounded ones that are operating without licenses? I'm not quite following over here. But look, fundamentally from my side, what I've been seeing a lot more of is really that, I don't know, do you want to call it how we negotiate? There's a way that one should be able to negotiate with this, but a bit of a strong-handed tactic, I think, is coming from the JP Smiths and the likes so far. And you can't do that with the taxi guys. I spun into you.
You know?
Let's say there are taxis that are blocking the N2 highway this morning. Is that something that Santaco would support?
We are not supporting, we are in stayaway. We're not supporting taxis to be on the road, blocking the road.
Once again, criminal elements override what the natural good of the whole movement is doing. So buses are getting burned. Santaco is saying, Aserona, we haven't sent out a mandate like that. The journalist was trying to push him into a corner. But pretty clear. I mean, if you're asking for a moratorium, so that you can't come and want to negotiate with, like, you know, like what the JP Smith said the other day. It was like, if a single bus or anything is torched, for each bus that is damaged, we will take 25 taxis. You see, that is kind of weaponizing it. Yeah, I mean, you're taking the issues and you're weaponizing it. And when the people are saying let's have a moratorium, doesn't mean that they're trying to challenge the regulations. But now there's a, no, we're not even going to hold up on this. This is not Israel. I know it's the Western Cape and I know it's DA territory, but this is that Bungamna stuff that we like talking about, because you can't negotiate in bad faith, because that's exactly what you're doing. And then you're trying to threaten the people. JP, put your dick back in your pants that day. This is people's lives.